Hello everyone. Today I'm honored to present my research paper titled An Investigation of the Relationship between EFL Teachers' Well-Being Levels and Social Justice Advocacy Levels in the Turkish Context. This study was conducted as a part of my coursework at Çanakkale 18 Mart University Institute of Graduate Education, Department of English Language Teaching under the supervision of Professor Dr. Salim Razi. Let me introduce you my outline first. Firstly, we will start with the abstract and overview. Then we will move on to introduction and literature review part, along with research questions. And then we will move on to methodology, including research design, participants, data collection tools, and data analysis. And then I will present the findings according to each research question. Then we will conclude with discussion and conclusion and key references. To give you an overview, this study delves into a crucial area, the interplay between the professional well-being of EFL teachers and their social justice advocacy levels, specifically within the unique context of Turkey. Our approach is guided by a socio-ecological framework, acknowledging the multiple layers of influence on a teacher's experience. We collected quantitative data from in-service teachers across various regions and types of institutions in Turkey. We used two established scales, the Teacher Wellbeing Scale and the Social Issues Advocacy Scale. Our findings indicate that teachers generally experience moderate levels of well-being with some interesting nuances. Organizational well-being was perceived highest, while workload well-being was the lowest, highlighting a significant pressure point. We also found that demographic factors like gender and age notably influence well-being, and surprisingly, private school teachers reported higher well-being in student interaction and a stronger stance on social justice advocacy. Finally, a significant but weak positive relationship was found between well-being and social justice advocacy levels. Teacher well-being is fundamental to professional growth, student emotional health, motivation, and ultimately academic achievement. Our understanding of well-being has evolved from simply focusing on stress and burnout to cultivating positive qualities deriving from positive psychology. In the EFL context, teachers often face high stress. Crucially, well-being must be understood within its social contexts, aligning with the PERMA model, which includes positive emotions, engagement, relationships, meaning, and accomplishment. This aligns perfectly with our socio-ecological framework, which views well-being as being shaped by individual, contextual, community, and national levels. Now, regarding social justice in education, it's about fostering a democratic, inclusive, and equitable society. It means actively challenging systemic inequalities related to race, gender, ability, and sexuality, and ensuring fair resource distribution. For educators, this translates into equipping students with critical thinking skills to recognize and challenge oppression and to become socially responsible citizens. In the Turkish context, there is a growing interest in social justice language education. However, a significant challenge exists. While teachers may hold strong social justice beliefs, they often face barriers such as limited knowledge or specific socio-political contexts that hinder their ability to translate these beliefs into action. There is also a clear need for some research exploring EFL teacher well-being through a comprehensive sociopolitical and cultural lens in this region. Based on this background, our study aimed to answer three core research questions. First, we wanted to see the current levels of well-being among Turkish EFL teachers and specifically how these levels change based on their demographics. Our second question focused on their social justice advocacy levels and similarly whether these varied according to their demographics. Finally and crucially, we aim to determine if there is a significant relationship between these two constructs, the well-being levels and the social justice advocacy levels of Turkish EFL teachers. Moving on to our methodology, this study employed a quantitative research approach, specifically a survey research design. This means we collected data at a single point in time using questionnaires as our primary data collection tools. Our participants were in-service English language teachers working across various regions in Turkey. We used a combination of convenience and snowball sampling to reach our participant pool. In total, we gathered data from 391 teachers. Looking at their demographics, as you can see, for gender, the majority identified as women, and the majority were between 20 and 35 years old, followed by those aged 36 and 45 years old, and lastly, the smallest portion was those who are 46 or older. A significant portion came from the Marmara region and the remaining from other regions. Finally, for institution type, majority worked in public schools and the smaller portion was working in private schools. For data collection, we utilized two key instruments. First, the Teacher Wellbeing Scale developed by colleagues in 2015. This scale measures work-related well-being across three critical dimensions: workload well-being, organizational well-being, and student interaction well-being. Its validity has been confirmed through confirmatory factor analysis and structural equation modeling, showing good model fit. It also demonstrated high internal consistency, with Cronbach's alpha values ranging from 0.82 to 0.85 for the subscales and 0.89 overall. Second, we used the Social Issues Advocacy Scale by Nielsen and colleagues from 2011. This scale measures distinct dimensions of social advocacy, including political and social advocacy, confronting discrimination, political awareness, and social issue awareness. Its validity was assessed through exploratory and confirmatory factor analysis, confirming a robust structure. The scale also showed excellent internal reliability with an overall theta reliability of 0.93 and subscale values between 0.89 and 0.94. Our data analysis was conducted using SPSS. We began with descriptive statistics to understand the frequencies, means, and standard deviations of our variables. We also confirmed the reliability of our scales and subdimensions through Cronbach's alpha. A crucial step was testing for normality using the Kolmogorov-Smirnov test, which indicated that our data was not normally distributed. This meant we needed to employ non-parametric statistical tests. Specifically, we used the Mann-Whitney-U test for variables with two categories, such as gender, region, and institution type. For variables with three or more categories, like age or experience, we used the Kruskal-Wallis test. To examine the relationships between variables, we applied Spearman's rank correlation coefficient. Now let's look at our findings, starting with the first research question. Our results shows that participants generally reported moderate levels of work-related well-being with an overall scale score mean of 73.70. Breaking this down into subdimensions of the scale, organizational well-being had the highest mean score. This suggests that teachers generally feel supported by their institutions and are satisfied with the organizational aspects of their work. Conversely, workload well-being had a lower mean score, reflecting mixed feelings about the manageability of their workload and highlighting it as a potential source of pressure. Student interaction well-being scored moderately high at, indicating that teachers generally have positive experiences in their relationships with students. Exploring how well-being changes with demographics, we found significant insights. For gender, female teachers reported significantly higher overall well-being, and specifically in workload and organizational well-being, compared to their male counterparts. However, there was no significant gender difference in student interaction well-being. Regarding age, we observed significant differences in overall well-being, workload, and organizational well-being. Teachers aged 46 and above consistently showed the highest mean ranks, suggesting greater well-being in these areas compared to younger age groups. Again, student interaction well-being remained consistent through age groups. For the region, we found no statistically significant differences in any of the scale scores between teachers from the Marmara region and those from other parts of Turkey. Finally, concerning institution type, there were no significant differences in total well-being, workload, or organizational well-being between public and private school teachers. However, a significant difference emerged in student interaction well-being, where private school teachers reported significantly higher scores, indicating more positive experiences with their students. Moving to our second question, we examined the social justice advocacy levels of Turkish EFL teachers. Overall, participants reported moderate to high levels of engagement in social justice advocacy with a total score mean of 70.57. When we break this down by the subdimensions of the scale, political and social advocacy had a mean score of 21.44, suggesting a moderate level of proactive involvement. On the other hand, political awareness was slightly lower and social issue awareness was relatively high, indicating teachers are generally attentive to social challenges. Finally, confronting discrimination had a mean of 11.2, reflecting a commendable willingness among teachers to actively oppose discrimination when encountered. Delving into how social justice advocacy varies with demographics, we found several notable distinctions. For gender, while there were no significant differences in overall scale or most subdimensions, we did find a significant difference in political awareness, with women demonstrating higher mean ranks compared to men. Regarding region, teachers from the Marmara region showed significantly higher mean ranks in overall scale, political and social advocacy, political awareness, and confronting discrimination. There was no significant difference in social issue awareness between regions. The institution type revealed particularly strong differences. Private school teachers exhibited statistically significant higher mean ranks across all subscales compared to public school teachers. This suggests a stronger inclination towards social justice advocacy in private school settings in our sample. Finally, for age, we observed significant differences in overall scale and most subdimensions. Teachers aged 46 and above had the highest mean ranks, followed by those aged 20 and 35, with the 36 and 45 age group reporting the lowest scores. This suggests a complex relationship where both very experienced and relatively younger teachers may show higher advocacy levels. For our third research question, we found a statistically significant but weak positive correlation between overall teacher well-being and overall social justice advocacy levels. Similar weak positive correlations were observed between total well-being and social justice advocacy subdimensions. This finding is crucial. While these two constructs are related, the weakness of the correlation suggests that the presence of external barriers or contextual factors may limit the direct interaction between a teacher's personal well-being and their capacity to fully enact their social justice advocacy. Essentially, it highlights a potential belief-action gap where teachers may strongly believe in social justice, but systemic or contextual challenges prevent them from fully integrating it into their practice, potentially impacting their well-being. To summarize, our key findings observed moderate teacher well-being with workload identified as a significant stressor. Our study showed that female teachers and older teachers, particularly those aged 46 and above, reported higher levels of well-being. Interestingly, private school teachers demonstrated both higher student interaction well-being and stronger social justice advocacy. We also found that teachers in Marmara region displayed greater social justice advocacy. Ultimately, a weak positive correlation emerged between well-being and social justice advocacy levels. These findings highlight key implications. Systemic barriers such as burnout, institutional challenges, limited pedagogical support, restrictive policies, and broader issues can seriously limit teachers' ability to practice social justice in the classroom. This points to the urgent need for critical pedagogical approaches that consider both personal and contextual factors affecting teacher well-being and justice engagement. Our study recommends targeted policies and professional development programs to raise teachers' awareness and empower them to challenge inequality. Overall, the results emphasize that teacher well-being is deeply shaped by the wider context in which they work. And finally, here are the key references that informed and supported our research. Thank you very much.